Greetings! My name is Razzie McSnazzy and I'm a developer here at VRChat. Today I want to introduce to you a new camera feature we've been working on for VRC Plus subscribers, the Camera Dolly. The Camera Dolly is a tool that lets you create and play animations for the VRC camera. If you're a filmmaker, a cinematographer, a streamer, or someone who makes showcases for avatars, worlds, or other kinds of actual media, then this is for you. Alright, we've got a lot to cover. Without further ado, let's dive into it. You can access the Dolly through the camera menu. Once you've opened the Dolly menu, you're presented with a number of things to do. On the bottom are buttons that let you manage your path. Add creates a new point at the end of the current path. The point inherits all of the parameters the camera is currently set to. You can animate the camera's position and rotation, as well as zoom, focus, look at me offsets, and green screen colors. Oh, by the way, look at me offsets and green screen colors are new controls available outside of the Dolly as well. We've also added new movement controls. Fly speed determines how fast your camera moves. Turn speed determines how fast your camera rotates. Finally, smoothing strength determines how much the camera motion is smoothed when using the smoothed behavior. To get started, you'll need to place at least 2 points. Once you've placed the second point, the play button will become available. Click it to play the animation. While playing, the play button is replaced by a stop button that lets you interrupt the current animation. Other options include the ability to clear the last point, as well as all points. An additional prompt is presented when clearing all points so that you don't accidentally delete your whole path. Turning on audio from camera moves the audio listener to the camera during the animation. Careful, your hearing will be based on the camera's position and rotation. If the camera moves far away from you, you will not be able to hear sound in your immediate vicinity anymore. The export button writes your current path to a JSON file on your computer. More on this later on OSC integration. Each point you create displays a menu that lets you edit the point. You can remove the point, change its parameters, you can change its position within its path, and you can change which path it belongs to. More on paths in a moment. Finally, copy to camera takes your camera and applies the points values back to it. My camera is currently over here. If I click copy to camera, it is now at the points position. You can create multiple paths that are animated in sequence, allowing you to create more complex animations. By default, the dolly uses time-based motion and displays a duration slider. The duration determines how fast the camera moves from one point to the next. The default is 2 seconds. When using time-based motion, you may also choose an ease type to apply a curve to the animation speed. Switching to speed-based motion lets the dolly use fly speed rather than duration as the value driving the animation. This allows you to create custom ease curves. A few configurations, like multi-streaming, are not currently supported with speed-based motion, so keep an eye out for on-screen messages. The path type determines how paths are smoothed. Fitted is the default and uses B-spline interpolation. It fits the path in between the points you've created and is generally very smooth. Loose paths use Catmull-Rom interpolation and are slightly less smooth, but ensure that the path passes through the points you've created. Linear paths use no smoothing. Fitted and loose paths require at least 4 points. With less than 4 points, paths default to linear interpolation. Once you've added at least 4 points, the first and last ones become anchors. Anchors are not part of the animation, but are instead used to give shape to a path's start and end. Using looping allows you to configure how the animation should loop. When using looping, the animation will loop indefinitely until you click stop or change worlds. Repeat makes the camera move back to the start once it reaches the end. Reverse makes the camera change direction at either end. Revolve connects the end of a path back to the start. By default, paths are animated in sequence, back to back. By setting streaming to multi, you can animate paths simultaneously. Multi-streaming can use at most 4 paths, while additional paths are ignored. When the camera is anchored to the world, animations will stay in place as the player moves. Select local or default to have paths follow your avatar. Due to performance constraints, there are limits on how many points you can create. On Windows, it's 100 points in total and 50 per path. On Quest, it's 50 total and 25 per path. The camera dolly is not supported on mobile devices at this time. The camera dolly supports 4 OSC endpoints for playing an animation after a start timer, exporting the current path, and importing a path. Please check out the camera dolly documentation for more details on OSC support.